Putin does orthodoxy, he does Christianity, but on his own terms. And so, for example, apparently, in the book Putin's People, there's a story where Putin and Sergei Pugachev, an oligarch friend, attended the service in the last week before Lent, Forgiveness Sunday. And Pugachev told Putin that he should prostrate himself in front of the priest and beg for forgiveness. "Why should I?" he replied. "I am the president of Russia. Why should I ask for forgiveness?" It's said that Putin handles orthodoxy rather like the Taliban. It's a return to the Middle Ages, using religion to undermine the constitution and the rights of Russian citizens, and no more so than when looking at the rights of the rising Muslim population in Russia. So Russia has millions of Muslim residents, but only 4 mosques in Moscow. And this has led to a situation where a huge number of private rooms and centers have been used as makeshift mosques. And what's worrying is that on July the 10th, for example, and on other occasions, the Muslim community of Kotelniki, a town near Moscow, they released a video addressing Mr. Putin, asking him to grant them protection from the country's security forces, because on July the 7th, riot police had entered their prayer house, which is part of an apartment building, during Friday prayers without removing their outside shoes. They burst into the premises where people were praying, and with screams and uncensored expressions, they applied physical force, showing no regard at all for the worshippers. And the community leader, Salavat Ibatulin, said that many of the group's members are authentic Russian citizens. And when they asked what the officers were doing, they sprayed the congregants with a fire extinguisher. These officers were entirely hooded, so they couldn't be identified anyway. I want to add that our community opposes the violation of migration law, but we can't track down violators of the law among our congregants. That must be done by the competent authorities outside our community. Our congregation includes participants of the special military operation. When these people return home from the battlefield, they're deeply offended to see such injustice taking place at home. "Mr. Putin," he said, "we appeal to you for protection. We ask you to intervene in this situation." And the head of the region's Muslim spiritual directorate has released a statement in which he has said that the raid, and many others like it, is egregious in its audacity, and it resembled an operation to apprehend dangerous criminals. It also noted that Kotelniki's Muslim community is an official local religious organization registered with the Russian Justice Ministry. But this is the problem. There is increasingly a difference between the treatment of people who are recognized as orthodox and the treatment of people in other who belong to other religions. A little bit like the Stalin period, when if you were Jewish, for example, you couldn't aspire to the top jobs. You couldn't aspire to go to the top universities. You had to go to universities actually like the one that I was in. And there was there were jokes. There still are jokes. You know, are you a member of the FSB? And well, if you're seen to be Jewish, no, you're not. So there is prejudice. That prejudice seems to have quietened down about 20 years ago, but it's well on the way back again now. And instead of the prejudice being specifically against Jewish people, It's now against Muslim people, primarily. But it's fueled by an obsessive interest in Russian orthodoxy and a very sad and parochial, insular understanding of Russian orthodoxy, and not an orthodoxy I would accept or understand.